Just to give a quick summary of the previous podcast, it's Friday, June 10th today, I believe. Summary is we're having a very hard time, or at least I'm having a very hard time trying to figure out why the forecasters of AccuWeather, who are the best, are forecasting a high of 104 in St. Louis on Tuesday. It sounds like it's really, really overdone because 104 is something that has happened in St. Louis during years of drought. It's happened plenty of times, even in the month of June, during years of drought. This year is a year of flooding. The dew points are higher. There's more humidity. The sun is not as efficient at heating temperatures during years of flooding. And AccuWeather is forecasting something that is extreme. I'm not questioning their forecast. I just would love to know what it is based upon. It's a big struggle for me. And the other thing is the AccuWeather's forecast of 3 consecutive days of 100 degrees or higher in the month of June. They're also forecasting that. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. That's something, again, that we've had in the month of June during years of drought. In fact, we've seen 5 consecutive days. In the year 1952, we've seen 5 consecutive days in the month of June. We've seen 4 consecutive days in several years, which was pointed out in the previous podcast. But what about during a year of flooding? Have we ever seen 3 consecutive days this early on of 100 degrees in a year of flooding? The last time we saw 3 consecutive days in the month of June was in 2012. It was the final 3 days. It went on to produce an additional 7 days in July, a total of 10 consecutive days, which is the second most ever. The most is 13 in 1936, which occurred in the month of August. But in 2012, day number 1 was unbelievable at 108 degrees. That was June 28th. But it was a drought. The dew points were really low. Next week, not only is it a year of flooding, dew points are being forecasted to go to 70, the low 70s. The National Weather Service has a high of 102. There's questions even on the National Weather Service. I've come up with 3 possibilities of what might be happening on Tuesday. One, which makes the most sense, which probably is not going to be happening but initially I wanted to say the high would be 97, a dew point of 74. We would be putting the heat index perhaps at 109. The heat index, I think, is the most accurate way. The second most accurate way to measure the amount of energy that's in the air. Probably the wet bulb temperature might be the most accurate way, but we haven't looked into that yet. So I think the amount of energy in the air will probably be 109, perhaps the lower 100 in teens, just because the high pressure ridge from the desert southwest is actually intensifying and reaching its peak right over the St. Louis area, right at 38 degrees north latitude. The other possibility, so we have the high would be 99, and we would be looking at a heat index in the low 100 in teens. The third possibility is the National Weather Service, a high of 102. Then you drop the dew point from 74 to 70, so you end up again with a heat index of 109. Or the fourth possibility is drop the dew point even more, drop it to 68, which is still very humid, and increase that temperature to 104. Based upon climatology, in St. Louis during years of flooding, what fits the best is to have dew points in the mid-70s. That's classic St. Louis, especially during years of flooding, and lower those temperatures to the upper 90s. AccuWeather has gone ahead and given St. Louis, they're predicting a temperature that occurs during years of drought of 104. They also have the dew points high. I would not be surprised if AccuWeather ends up getting it right because they're just amazing forecasters. I wish that there was a forecast discussion available from AccuWeather like the National Weather Service does. That's what the previous podcast was about. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Have a wonderful Shabbos.